Hi, guys. Tonight we have the incredible multi-platinum selling recording artist JoJo. The hitmaker has been a force in the music industry since she was just 13 years old when she made her debut with the classic R&B pop tune Leave, Get Out. 16 years later, she is stronger than ever and preparing to release her excellent fourth album, Good to Know, in just a few hours. We'll be digging deep into her raw, evocative new music, and she'll be performing a few of the songs live as well. As our conversation is happening, please feel free to drop questions into the chat so JoJo can answer later in the hour. Of course, we're coming together today for this free event to support 92Y's COVID-19 Emergency Relief Fund, and we both encourage you to make a donation to 92Y's official website, 92y.org, so that they can continue putting on great events like these. Without further ado, please welcome JoJo. Hi.
Oh, hey.
Before we dig into this album, I kind of want to know how your quarantine life is. How did you have to start to adjust things back in early March?
I want to start by saying that I'm just really lucky to be comfortable and to be okay. I have everything that I need, so I can't complain about quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
Like being bored is the worst. And I haven't really had the time to be bored because I've been talking to a lot of people and didn't push back this album. You know, I really wanted to make sure that we could stay on course with being able to release music. And but it's interesting. My mom is staying with me, so we are up under each other a lot of the time. But it's cool. We're cool. Agape, my dog. God bless her. Everything's good. How's it going for you? I know you're on the East Coast.
Yeah, New York's a little dystopian right now, but
Right.
Again, very lucky to be comfortable, lucky to be doing something like this. Yeah. And tell me about adjusting that album rollout for these circumstances. This is so unprecedented for the music industry. What have you had to sort of rethink strategy-wise as you kind of gone into releasing Good to Know right now?
I had to let go of the idea of like traveling and seeing people doing the normal, like let's go to New York and do the press tour. So everything has been done from my home. So I haven't put on a pair of high heels until today. So that's been fine. You know what I mean? Like it's just different because I am a big energy person. So I would like to like feel your energy, for example. It's different on an app. You just can't just to share a space with somebody is different. So, and then, we postponed the tour. So that's now pushed back to the end of the year. And we're just staying on top of seeing how things are going because we don't want to put anybody in danger. But I want to find creative ways to get this music out to people and to also like have the visuals to go with it. So thankfully I have really talented friends and we're coming up with ways of doing that.
Yeah. And so much of what's been great about the music being released right now is that for a lot of people, it's been a huge comfort to have an album like yours in this moment and have new music from an artist that they love. What has been the comforting music for you? What's kind of given you solace in this time?
I've been going back and listening to Solange's most recent two albums, When I Get Home and Seat at the Table. And also just like I love starting my day off with listening to A Love Supreme by John Coltrane.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to everything from like Nas's Illmatic to Miles Davis Kind of Blue to SZA's Control album. As far as new stuff that's come out, there's a lot of dope stuff that I really dig right now. I love what Victoria Monet is doing. And yeah, I'm excited for Kehlani's project. Tory Lanez just put out a new project. So I'm glad that a lot of us aren't pushing our projects back because I personally need more music to consume. So keep it
coming. And a lot of those artists sound like clear influences on a lot of what we hear on Good to Know. And I want to dig into, I know this is going to be kind of spoilery for people waiting for the next few hours, but I kind of want to, I want to go into it. And first off, I know that there is a chapter arc to it. And I want to kind of, before we kind of break down those chapters and the arcs that's happening in it, tell me about the period of your life that this album is capturing. Sort of what's kind of the time period that we're hearing about on Good to Know.
it's really the past 2 years of my life because I started really writing for this like a year and a half ago when I rented an Airbnb and invited some of my favorite friends and collaborators to come through, and we just camped out and like started writing and talking and drinking wine and getting psychedelic and meditating and like just laying it all out there, talking about stuff. And this album kind of, I just wrote from where I was. So when I started off, I felt really, I felt ashamed. I felt like I had sabotaged a relationship. That's what the song Sabotage that came out before Good to Know is about. And I was just like, how can I move on from this? How can I love myself when I did something so terrible? Like I just thought I was like a bad girl, you know? And I don't even like of thinking particularly about women in the terms of like good girl, bad girl, but I was definitely judging myself. And I didn't have a lot of compassion or empathy or love for myself. And so I was writing through that. I was like so many songs about that breakup and just and then also trying to escape and like overdoing it and um trying to like distract myself from my thoughts, you know?
Yeah.
And so the first part of the album feels like that moment. And then toward the middle, um, and really like thankfully the people I was working with, like Lito comes to mind when I read some journal excerpts to him. He was like, you are way too hard on yourself. Like you need to forgive
Oh.
yourself and maybe be alone because I've always like jumped from relationship to relationship. And so in the middle of the album, that chapter is like trying to figure out how to be comfortable with my own thoughts, my own company. And then
Mhm.
by the end, kind of reaching this place of it is what it is. It's neither good nor bad. It's all information. You are not what you've done. You know, you are who you are in this moment.
And there is so much clarity to the way that you write about these experiences. And I think of a song like Pedialyte, where you're very raw and honest about your experiences with substances that weren't serving you in the way that you needed them to, or
Just
you needed to
overdoing
be
it.
served.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, I mean, I was just tired of I'm just not interested in like losing a whole day to a hangover ever
Hmm.
again. You know what I mean? So yeah, Pedialyte could have easily been called like the hangover song because that's what it's about. It's like kind of taking an inventory and being like, I need to replenish my friggin' electrolytes because I went hard last night.
Yeah. And when you, with the way that this is structured, did that structure sort of come naturally as you started to dig into these emotions and kind of reflect on this period of your life? Or when you started to think about the album as a whole, did you kind of want to make sure that it went in this very almost chronological, emotional recovery period?
As I was writing and choosing songs for the album and stuff, I was healing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this was like a journey of accepting my past, my present, and feeling really optimistic about the future and like my best days are ahead of me. Um, and so I knew that I wanted this album to be way more cohesive than anything I've ever put out before. I really loved putting together my Agape mixtape
Mm-hmm.
because that was something that just I felt people could feel my personality a little bit more with the interludes and just the lightness of it. And um, so I was inspired by that energy, that freedom, but also keeping in mind that I'm at a different place. Like I'll never make something that feels exactly like something I've done in the past. But yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know what it was going to be about.
Yeah.
I this album could have very much been about trying to get my ex to forgive me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or it could have been about like continuing that toxic pattern of like just distracting myself with making out with random boys, but like I'm not doing that anymore. So
Yeah. I do love a song like Man, where you're like, I want someone that, is like a fan, like who cares, who like can live up to who I am and like recognize my worth. Tell me a little bit about that song and also the video, which I love, where you have so many of your friends in there with you.
I didn't really know a lot about boundaries or about even my own worth. I wasn't sure. It's one thing for people to celebrate you and especially like celebrate you for what you do or what you've done, but that doesn't always contribute to like a stable sense of self-worth. So I really had to work on that over the past few years, journaling, meditating, a lot of therapy and self-help things. Like I have invested in myself because I know that that's a worthy investment. And when it comes to man, I really believe every word that I'm saying. I dig my alone time. I love having the bed to myself, rolling around. I love my space. It feels like a sanctuary to me, and the way that I can take care of myself. And basically, I'm saying that there's just going to be no settling
Mhm.
at this point in my life. Like this is a really juicy time for a woman, you know, late 20s. It's popping. So I don't want to just like I don't want to share this energy, this goodness with just
Yeah.
anybody.
And with that song, like Small Things, which kind of talks about your relationship with your friends and kind of focusing in on the small things and not, letting these things affect you. Like, tell me about kind of looking at, while you're kind of recovering from this breakup and looking at the way that you have kind of let more toxic elements into it, looking at the way it's affecting all of your other relationships around you.
I'm a compartmentalization queen. I can like keep things moving, like,
Mm.
and not even realize or take really an inventory of how it's affecting me. But it does, and that's what Small Things is about. It's like um, just kind of shrugging it off and being like, I'm good. I'm really doing well. But then having being triggered by something like stepping over an emotional landmine. Like, for example, if you fell in love with somebody in New York, like, you could pass by a restaurant and be swept up in those memories and then just be like, okay, maybe I'm not fine. Maybe I'm not as over this as I thought I was.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, that's what Small Things is about. It's never like those grand gestures. It's those little moments of like, oh, we used to touch finger pads like this or whatever, and yeah, so definitely in my feels for that one. Like again, it's not a perfect arc of like I've arrived at this place where I'm over everything.
Mhm.
I'll probably like most of us will maybe have to make this loop a few times until we really learn that we're okay,
Yeah.
just on our own.
And I mean, so much, especially with the time that it's coming out, is this moment where people, I think, are kind of, they're at home, they're reflecting on things, they're thinking. Like, tell me about kind of revisiting a lot of those moments and revisiting the tougher times in this kind of private, more alone, kind of forced
As
lockdown.
much as people have heard about how I've been like a victim in the music industry. I don't identify as that, but that's I feel like how some stories have painted me of like she's been a casualty of all these things and blah blah blah. I in the past few years I've really taken inventory as to like how I've been on both sides of heartbreak. I have
Mhm.
like used love and sex as a weapon, and I've used it as a way to feel powerful because I felt so disempowered in my creative and career life. You know what I mean? So that's what a lot of this is. It's like taking inventory and taking accountability and facing myself. And I think it must be a hard time for a lot of people who maybe haven't done that deep dive yet. And I do really recommend it. It can be uncomfortable, but it's worthwhile because when you come to terms with who you are and what you've done, you're not afraid of anybody being like, well, remember when this happened? Yeah, I do. And I've already talked about it. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to show them this. Okay. They know I'm crazy. They know I'm a freak, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and just owning everything about yourself, I think is a really powerful place to come from. So I hope that people are cool with their own thoughts right now. Cause I do know it can be a treacherous place in your mind sometimes.
Yeah. And I want to talk about the outro on the deluxe edition. Proud. Is that your mom's voicemail on there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It is. I thought it would be like an interlude. I thought that
Yeah.
I had a conversation with my mom and I was just like I was like, I don't know how no one's ever gonna love me again. We always think we're never gonna find love again, and then we always do. So always remember that. You know what I mean? You will find love after love. But I was like, I'm trash. I can't forgive myself. I can't believe I did that. And my mom was giving me advice and being like the sage that she is. And then she left me a voice note to kind of elaborating on that. She's like, you have to live in the present, Joe. What makes you depressed is living in the past and thinking about the past. I think I might be quoting her word for word. She's like, all we have is right now. And you just, you know, let your higher power guide you, that love. And I would have thought that that sounded corny a few years ago, but that is just so true to me today. And then I sent it to Lito and he turned it into a beat. He like put it into his software, put it on the keyboard and started triggering. He was on his Kanye West shit and just like 808s and heartbreaks.
And I love the chopped and screwed mom voicemail.
Yeah. She was like, I hate the sound of my voice. Can you have an actor come in and do my voice? I'm like, no, you sound great, you weirdo.
And amongst the other guests that you have Thundercat on that song, who is phenomenal. Yeah. Tell me about working with him, and also you'd mentioned Tory Lanez earlier as someone whose music you've been turning to. He has come back, yeah.
Steve, Thundercat's new album, obviously, is the best name for what we're going through right now, which is It Is What It Is. Mm-hmm. Steve has been a friend for a long time, and he played on my Agape mixtape as well. So he's playing bass on Back to the Beginning again. So this is a full circle moment, kind of. And basically, first those chords were something that Lito had played on a piano, and then we had Steve come in and we were going to have him play with the piano, but I was like, this is so ill by itself. So we just took the piano out and it's a bass driven song. And he is doing things that are just out of this world. As a musician, I don't know, he's just fucked up, like how incredible he is. So I'm so glad that he lended his soul and his musicality to that song, because that song's so special to me. So I was like, I need you. I'm gonna need you on this one.
Mm-hmm. And I know you had mentioned Lito and Doc McKinney as being sort of the big partners in creating this album. Tell me about them sort of seeing you come through on the other side and also make such you said your most cohesive, raw piece of work that everyone's gonna be hearing tonight.
But both of those guys, Doc and Lito, like helped me find my confidence and find my voice again. And because I was just questioning so much personally and like creatively, and they gave me the confidence to trust myself. Sometimes I needed that push. And so I'm really, really grateful for them for that experience. And they ended up being my therapists. Doc and I would like have long conversations, and same thing with Lito or 30 Rock. And we would just talk things through until we had a song, pretty much. And what was cool about working with Doc is that at House of Balloons, where they've made so much ill music, and it was just dope to like camp out there pretty much. And we had like a whiteboard, right here, like a whiteboard. And we would write the names of the songs, even other songs that I was considering for the album or that I had done with other people. And we would like rearrange them, and we'd write all these different possible album titles. And then we'd be like, okay, we'll put an interlude here and do this and that. That's an experience I always wanted, because playing more of like the pop game, it's coming up when I came up in like, the 2010s and 2000s. It was just a different time, and people were like, you just need a song from this person and this person, this person, this person. And I've always really just wanted to make something that felt more like a journey to me.
Yeah. And I want to talk a little bit about that as someone who's been through pop and R&B and kind of seen it cycle for the last 16 years. I mean, tell me about kind of your experiences making music and how you hear music with that perspective of what pop was when you first started and R&B was when you first started, and then making this album, which is so purely R&B. I mean, you have like the, kind of bedroom R&B jam with Come Back and things like that. I mean, tell me about sort of coming from those they seem like two different worlds at times.
I'm glad that pop now means is making a return to just meaning popular, because pop is hip hop. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? What's most popular is hip hop right now, and R&B is having such a resurgence and like a renaissance. It's a really amazing time to be a part of the R&B community, I think, because there's genres are melding and inspirations are seamlessly coming together in like a really cool, delicious dish, pretty much.
Mhm.
So the way that things have changed over the years, I've changed over the years, like with the times, you know, not like I've tried to, but because I'm growing. And uh thank God we don't stay the same. And thank God technology has evolved and that labels are now figuring out how to, you know, get music out via streaming, that there's other ways for artists to get their music out there. They don't need to sign to a major necessarily. Like the independent thing is so viable. And with me, I don't know. I'm liking making music in this era more than I ever have before. Like it was way more formulaic. It was more, and now I think, as listeners, demand authenticity from our artists. I think we don't really want the factory line thing
Mhm.
of like a pop star. We don't. We feel weird about perfection. You know.
Yeah. And with that kind of in mind, is there are you feeling sort of with the idea that we can release any time and people have and artists have more freedom with that? Are you feeling really creative in right now in this moment when I know obviously planning the tour and kind of having this free time right now? I mean, are you feeling really creative with songwriting and with flexing and trying different things as a vocalist?
I
How is
am.
that right now?
I am. I have really good acoustics at the crib, actually. So I'm like, yeah. I'm just doing all types of weird vocal stuff. I'm like playing with my whistle register, and I'm learning piano, and I feel really like I'm expanding during this time. But as far as writing new songs, I've been so anxious about people hearing "Good to Know" that I think I'll get a surge of inspiration once people have lived with it and kind of once I know that that baby's been birthed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been pregnant with her for a minute now. Come out, and it's time. And um, yeah, I'm not sure what I want the next project to be about, but I have some songs that I'm ready for you to hear. So we're just figuring it out. You know.
Yeah. And I see that we're getting some questions rolling in. The first one is, how was your reunion with Jinju, and how did it happen?
Oh, that's my baby. We've never she just went and became a superstar in her own right. So with DNCE. So I was like, I would catch up with them on the road if we'd be doing like holiday, like jingle ball things together. And that's always been my sis. So it's just amazing to see her step into her own self. And now she's a fashion designer and doing all these ill things. So that's my boo. And she's a real one because she brought me toilet paper yesterday because I've been using tissue. And I just can't say enough things about her. That's my bitch. I fucking love her.
um, Another question is there a song you're most excited for your fans to hear?
Hmm. I don't want to sway anybody. I want people to tell me what they like the best. It seems like everybody has a different favorite, and that's cool. And I think that'll change over time as it does for me. But I was just listening to it in the car over here, and damn, I love it all. I mean, it's compact, so every song is meaningful to me and is there for a reason. But uh, I'm excited for people to hear "Think About You."
Yeah.
Yeah, I will give an answer. I thought I wasn't going to.
And what was your first plan for the Lonely Hearts video clip?
First plan.
Yeah, for Lonely
Oh,
Hearts.
um, when I was writing it in Toronto with my girl Lowell, um, I always thought that I would film it at the Roosevelt Hotel in LA because I live for a staycation. Like living in LA is amazing. Um, I'm from Massachusetts, will always be a New England girl, but I've lived in LA for a long time now. And um, so I like to take like a 1 day staycation sometimes and like get a hotel room and then like use the pool and like I like to do that. So I was thinking of like having the whole video shot at the Roosevelt and this because the song is very descriptive. Well, innocent hotel, King bed at the Roosevelt, where I can't abuse my trust. I just pictured it all being there, like we set the scene with lyrics.
Yeah. And you worked with Zelda Williams on the
Yes.
clip? Yeah.
Yeah. She directed a video for Save My Soul,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd wanted to work with her again for a long time. And since she's one of my best friends and we're under these quarantine times, I was like, can we do something really weird and random? I mean, the video isn't weird. The circumstances are weird, you
Yeah.
know? So we actually didn't even have to go inside her house. She set up a like a whatever that thing, a sheet, and we
Mm-hmm.
just shot it in the sunlight outside.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. And we made it work.
And how do you feel about your voice now compared to your voice when you were younger?
I've earned my voice now. I didn't do anything to earn my voice when I was a kid. It just came to me. I didn't appreciate it. Like I didn't have to do anything for it. It was, um, I was born with a gift to be able to sing and to have that type of expression. But now I think I have a different relationship with it. And I've also had to fight to maintain it. Like I've had some struggles with my voice over the years, even just psychologically, losing that gut connection, losing that trust in myself. If you don't trust yourself as a singer, it's hard out here for you, and for me. So I had to really like work on my mind body connection and get back to that freedom that I had when I was a little girl, because when you take something for granted, you try all these different things. And so, yeah, I hope that answered that.
And what's the decision behind adding a feature to come back?
Okay, so Tori and I did a show together at like Yale University a few years ago. It was Yale or Princeton or something. I don't know, one of those Ivy League schools that I didn't get into. So we were talking about working, for a long time. So when I wrote Comeback, 30 Rock, who produced it, and I were like, well, he was like, "Yo, you should get a feature on this," and I'm like, "Okay, I feel you, yeah." And as I was thinking about it, Tori was actually the first person that came to mind. So sent it to him, and he hit me right back and was like, "Oh, I'm definitely the dude for this." So he ended up killing me on my own song. Like he upped the ante. I mean, I knew I said some freaky stuff, but I was like, "Oh my god, whoa, okay, we're full on sexting on this record."
And we have some advice needed for Justin. He says, Lonely Hearts has been playing nonstop on my phone and in the car for days. Your lyrics are helping me get through a 9-year-long relationship breakup. Any advice for finding myself again?
Baby, Justin. Oh, damn, that is such a long time. Go inward, focus on yourself, do the things that make you feel good right now. And you're going to perhaps be tempted to like stay in bed all day and, be in a dark room or whatever. Try to resist that. Like allow yourself to do what you need to do, but then allow people to, allow your friends to support you and to uplift you. Watch the movies that will make you smile. Listen to things. Take care of yourself, your hygiene, your nutrition, your body, and be gentle with yourself. That would be my advice. Do what you need to do, though. You know what I mean? Don't and you will find love again. You will find love again. I promise you that you were going to look back on this time that you went inward and that you uh, gave to yourself, and you're going to be like, I'm so glad that I did, because damn it, I have it all now.
And someone is wondering, how many songs did you cut from the album?
I wrote so many songs for this album, and that doesn't mean that they're not going to be heard. That just means that I trimmed it down for this particular project. So I don't even know how to answer that question, because I made a lot of songs.
And someone was asking about food to cook while in quarantine.
Food to cook while in quarantine. Well, I have baked enough cookies and brownies and made enough pastas and like I've just done all of the carbing up. So now it's about creative salads. Okay. So I don't know. Make whatever you want though. Like I'm plant based. I'm not a perfect plant based person, but I feel better when I'm eating mostly vegetables and natural stuff. So if you can get out to the grocery store and get as many colors on your plate, it's going to give you life. It really will.
What was in your last creative salad?
Okay, so I got some dinosaur kale. I think it's called like lacinato kale,
Ooh.
and I made a dressing like this honey mustard vinaigrette. And I put some sunflower seeds and blackberries, celery, cherry tomatoes. I grilled up some. I made a jerk sauce that I have left over, and I put some marinated it with some fake chicken. And what made it not vegan was that I sprinkled it with Parmesan cheese. Sorry, it's bomb.
And we'll do one last fan question. What are your hopes and ambitions with your Clover record label?
I hope to not only put out my own music on it, but to sign acts that are inspiring, self-sufficient, and gonna move music forward and be breaths of fresh air. So I really do want to move into that part of my life where I'm helping other artists to have a platform and to just help them be as much of themselves as possible and to feel empowered in this industry.
Yeah. And I have one last question before we go to the performance. Since you have such a great vibe going around you for your performance, what's sort of the ideal way people should be listening to Good to Know tonight at midnight? Like what's sort of the ambiance someone should build in their home?
Ooh, I love that. Let's see. Okay, so Good to Know is sexy, it's sensual. So whatever makes you feel like that, okay? You know, whatever makes you feel like for me, the color orange is very evocative and really speaking to me right now. As you can see, got my little flowers. I got these press-on nails that
Ooh.
go with the Good to Know color, and even my eyeshadow. I've just been having fun with stuff like that. So if you want to dress up, do that. But light some candles, set the lights low. I just always think that's a good vibe. Or take a drive, and listen to that and blast it. Bump it because my car always has the best speakers. So I just hope that you're listening loud, and I hope you listen more than once. Like keep it on repeat, and then let me know what you think.
Well, thank you. Should we hear some of the songs live now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna ask Jinju to come in here. We're gonna set up.
Yeah. As JoJo sets up, please remember, if you can, again, this is a free event, if you can donate anything to the 9GY.org COVID-19 Emergency Relief Fund, please do so. And now we're going to have JoJo joined by Jinju on guitar, and they're going to perform 3 songs from Good to Know, which drops in just a few hours.
Woo! How's that? Am I in the right light? Closer? Boom. Let me find my light. All right, let's do man. Yeah. Hey, you know me, I just don't stop. I've been down, but I'm back up. Know they all had a little crush. Now they all want a little love. See, I've been getting comfortable on my own. I'm love. Oh, I don't need to sense myself. Hey, okay, cool. Great. Cause if I'm gonna love someone, well, damn, I'm gonna need a fucking man. Someone who want me like a thing. I need somebody who can love me like I love me like I can. Yeah, damn, I'm gonna need a fucking man. He ride for me like he'll stay. I need somebody who can love me like I love me like I can. See, I've been looking, but he's so rare. Yeah, I know that he out there, but who gon' step up to the plate? Yeah. Cause I ain't about the games, yeah. I've been getting comfortable on my own and shit. I'm loving it, I can handle it, yeah. So if I'm gonna love someone, well then I'm gonna need a fucking man. Someone who want me like a man. I need somebody you can, who gon' love me like a king, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna need a fucking man. He ride for me like he a stay, yeah. This is only for me, yeah. Who gon' love me like I love me like I can, yeah, yeah. Well, damn, yeah. I'm gonna need myself a man, someone who loves me, yeah, me, yeah. Damn, said I need. Who gon' love me like I love me like I can, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, gracias, grazie, obrigado. Yeah, okay. How do you say thank you in Korean? What? 감사합니다. All right, Lonely Hearts. Who out there's heard it? I know my soul, and I know just what to do with my own touch. I could spray my Chanel in a empty hotel, king bed at the Roosevelt, where I can't abuse my trust. Switch up and ghost on us, I cannot fuck me up like you. I'm insecure enough, yeah, yeah. Don't need to be kissing if you care. How can I work on me if I'm working on your body? I thought we were meant to be, but we never really got it, did we? I know one thing, lonely hearts won't break, hearts won't break. Lonely hearts won't break, hearts won't break. Hearts won't break. Yeah, I could pick up the phone right now and make that 2 a.m. call. I know just what to say, yeah, but that ain't what I need right now. And I won't let my wants get in my way, cause you might abuse my trust. Switch up and ghost on us, I cannot fuck me up like you. I'm insecure enough and don't need to be guessing if you care. How can I work on me if I'm working on your body? Yeah. I thought we were meant to be, but we never really got it, did we? Now I know one thing, lonely hearts won't break, hearts won't break. Lonely hearts won't break, hearts won't break. I'm liking being alone, emotions under control. Right now it's only for me. I ain't just trying to find myself, I don't need nobody's help. Oh, I know one thing, lonely hearts won't break. No, hearts won't break, won't break. If I'm working on your body, if I'm working on your body, as Lonely Hearts. And last song we're gonna do is, whew, let me breathe. I'm so nervous, y'all. We're gonna do Small Things. I want to show you more of my dress, so I just moved back. Heard your name just as I was heading home the other day, and I swear I couldn't even sit up straight. I swallowed hard. I found your shirt cleaning my apartment and it made it worse. And I swear you couldn't even see the hurt. I swallowed hard. And when my friends ask how I'm doing, I say I'm great now. But the truth is, I'm getting good at holding it in. All my emotions, all my feelings. But the more that I fight them, the bigger they seem. What really kills me is all the small things. I saw your car, wasn't you before me, and I thought it was. I swear to God, I almost didn't think of us. I swallowed hard. And when my friends ask how I'm doing, I say I'm great now. But the truth is, I'm getting good at holding it in. All my emotions, all my feelings. The more that I fight them, the bigger they seem. What really kills me, yeah, it's all the small things. This city has your fingerprints all over it, and I can't even think about someday she will too. And I know I'll get over it, 'cause that's just what I'll do. But what really kills me is everything you got used to. 'Cause I've been holding it in all my, but the more that I fight it, seems what really kills me. It's all the small things. Ooh, yeah. I'm getting good at holding it in. All my emotions, all my feelings. But the more that I fight them, the bigger it seems. What really kills me is all the small things. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Junju. Thank you. Go get Good to Know. Go stream it wherever you are. Thank you. Thanks, Brittany.
Thanks so much, JoJo. Again, donate at 92y.org, and please support the COVID-19 Emergency Fund for this great organization.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Thank
Peace.
you.